Are you looking to develop, streamline, or mature your SOC 2 compliance program but don't know where to begin? This SOC 2 guide is designed to give you a starting point for understanding and executing a successful SOC 2 program to reduce due diligence efforts, build trust with customers, and increase sales. This is Audit Board Essentials. Service Organization Control 2, or SOC 2, is shorthand for several things. A report that can be provided to third parties to demonstrate a strong control environment, an external audit performed to create a SOC 2 report, as well as the framework and controls that allow an organization to attain such a report. In other words, according to the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, or AICPA, SOC 2 can be summarized as a report on controls at a service organization relevant to security, availability, processing integrity, confidentiality, or privacy. To receive a SOC 2 report, an organization must go through a third-party audit of their system and organizational controls and provide auditors with evidence to demonstrate that internal controls are appropriately represented by management, which is a long way of saying that third-party auditors make sure companies looking for a SOC 2 attestation are walking the talk in terms of their security controls. Some of the benefits of a SOC 2 report include, but aren't limited to, streamlining due diligence or security questionnaire efforts, the ability to provide assurance to prospects on the security of their data that aligns to their standards, thereby increasing sales, as well as the ability to improve trust with customers, partners, and stakeholders, particularly if a third party is able to attest to the strong design and operating effectiveness of internal controls. In order to get ready for a SOC 2 audit, an organization needs to implement policies, procedures, and controls to meet SOC 2 criteria. Although the AICPA doesn't perform SOC 2 audits, they do provide a framework or guidance on what criteria makes a company compliant with SOC 2 requirements. This means that an organization might have to develop and launch access controls, data protection controls, or other controls, and consider a readiness assessment to prepare for an external SOC 2 audit. The SOC 2 framework published by the AICPA is a voluntary cybersecurity attestation most widely used by service organizations with primarily US-based customers, partners, and stakeholders. The framework was designed to be used by all types of service organizations and is currently very popular among SaaS companies. As such, the criteria provides flexibility in how it can be applied and audited. For example, unlike more prescriptive cybersecurity frameworks, SOC 2 allows a service organization to define how its cybersecurity controls are implemented, provided they meet the intent of the criteria they satisfy and address risk sufficiently. SOC 2 is made up of 5 trust services criteria. Each of the 5 categories has a specific focus. Security or common criteria provides validation that information and systems are protected against unauthorized access, disclosure of information, and damage that can compromise the availability, integrity, confidentiality, and privacy of information or systems. Security forms the baseline for any SOC 2 report and is therefore included in every report prepared. That means organizations can opt to have an examination performed on security controls only. Availability criteria, on the other hand, provides validation that information and systems are available for operation and use as needed. Examinations that include availability criteria take a deeper dive into disaster recovery controls, service level agreements, as well as capacity planning. Processing integrity criteria helps ensure that system processing is complete, valid, accurate, timely, and authorized, and focuses on controls related to data inputs and outputs, data quality, data processing timing, and reporting. The confidentiality criteria ensures that information designated as confidential, such as customer data, intellectual property, and contracts, for example, is protected by reviewing a company's maintenance of confidential information in transit, at rest, and at disposal. And lastly, the privacy criteria ensures that personal information such as protected health information and personally identifiable information is collected, used, retained, disclosed, and disposed of appropriately. This criteria overlaps significantly with HIPAA and other privacy-centric frameworks and guidance. A best practice for SOC 2 compliance is to assess all controls within the scope of an organization's SOC 2 compliance program at least annually. However, organizations may choose to assess only high-risk controls or controls that have a review frequency that falls within the assessment cycle, such as monthly or quarterly. Now, only CPA organizations can conduct external SOC 2 audits and create corresponding reports. And there are two types of reports that can be created by a CPA organization after performing a SOC 2 assessment. A Type 1 report, which is a report on the service organization's design of controls at a single point in time. This point in time is determined by the service organization and the auditor, but is typically defined by the time frame of the audit. A Type 2 report, which is a report on the service organization's design and operating effectiveness of controls over a period of time. The time period is determined by the service organization and is typically a full calendar year, but can be as little as 3 months, which is the minimum time period allowed for a Type 2 report. That's it for this episode of Audit Board Essentials. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to our channel for future episodes where we'll be covering the nuts and bolts of a foundational knowledge of audit, risk, and compliance.